We've got a big day today. There are several Feds on deck. The money market fund data came out yesterday. I'd like to do an update on the margin debt and how that's working out right now. And then we're going to look at Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners, and then the very end, we'll do a lightning round of some of our favorite tickers. So first of all, let's take a look at the day. This is the economic calendar today. We've got quite a few things going on here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different Feds talking today. They are bringing out their mighty weapon of the microphone today. Expect some volatility off of that. We've already had one speaker come up today, and those Feds are already having an effect on the market. You can see here on SPY, this is the overall market, S&P 500, of course. It is up a little bit on the day as those Feds are talking. Let's take a look at who is talking. We got Michelle Bowman already spoke. Bowman. We're going to see if they are hawks or if they are doves. Let's take a look at Bowman. Bowman is actually the most hawkish of the hawks. And even though Bowman already spoke this morning, the market is up. So they might be trying to prop up the market today. Maybe that consumer sentiment data that's coming out here in about 15 minutes, maybe that's bad. We do know that the initial jobless claims came in higher than expected yesterday, and that was pretty dramatic because that's been a while since we've seen that start happening. So keep an eye on the unemployment. That's one of the mandates of the Fed, is to keep as close to full employment as possible while inflation down. Let's take a look here. Logan is going to speak at 10 a.m. So in about 15 minutes, we've got Logan. Where is Logan? Where do they fit on here? Logan is closer to a centrist, but leans to be a hawk. Let's take a look here. We got Goolsby. Oh, we got two. We got Goolsby. Oh no, there's more than I thought. We've actually got 5 different Fed speakers today. So Goolsby and Kashkari. I know Kashkari is a hawk. Kashkari, yep, hawk. Logan is also a hawk. So a bunch of hawks on deck today. Let's see, Michael Barr, and then you got one dove on deck today. So you got 4 hawks and 1 dove from the Fed speaking today. One of the hawkishest of the hawks. Michelle Bowman spoke already this morning, and the market does not care. So maybe they're trying to prop it up in the face of bad economic data. I don't know. We'll see what happens at 7 if this consumer sentiment is down after yesterday's jobless claims came in extra high. That might be something interesting there to keep an eye on. Anyways, might move the market this morning here in about 15 minutes or so. So let's take a look at the money market funds. This data came out yesterday. So this is 458. Well, it didn't come out yesterday, it did come out yesterday, but it's 4up258, which is the day before yesterday. Doesn't matter. Anyways, you can see that the total here has actually grown since last week. We have grown by about $31 billion in money market funds since a couple of weeks ago. It's grown. Let's get close to $100 billion of growth. Getting there, not quite. It's at about 60 now. So that's actually doing really good. Now, who's contributing to this growth? Institutions, and both retail and institutions are stacking in the money market funds. So take that as you will. Is that a good sign? Is that a bad sign that people are stacking cash versus investing? Or is it a good sign that there's $6 trillion on the sidelines that could be invested at any time? Do with that what you will. I choose to see this as an optimistic thing, that there's a lot of cash that is uninvested currently. Maybe people, and when those times become good, when it looks as though the market may be at its lowest, we may see this money find its way back into the market. Let's take a look at FINRA margin debt. Margin debt has been creeping up through March. You can see it dropped off. Let's see. It dropped off, and that's October 2023. We're only up to March 2024, so we're still hanging out down here. This is kind of a lagging indicator, to be honest, because this is all the way back in March. It's not even up to date, and I couldn't find anything that was closer than March in terms of being up to date. But you can see the line is crawling up. When we see this line get up to this blue line, we'll know that things are bad, at least severely over leveraged. Let's dive into some charts. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin on the daily, you can see we broke out of this channel and we are staying solidly out of it right now. Let me close that. We're staying solidly out of that channel right now, hanging out at $63,000. We just need to see this thing just hold above and then start crawling back up again. Now, it might even do a little dip here, maybe back down to like 61 or so, but it can come all the way back down to, honestly, $60,000 before it touches this channel again. So it could continue to be bullish even if it starts to come down a little bit here from that. We are running into 20-day SMA with the 50 hanging out, looming at 66,900 there. Let's go to, let's look at some different charts on the Bitcoin. You know what is going to be interesting? Let me turn off my drawings here so you can see how interesting this one's about to get. It's the weekly. Look at that. Look at the weekly. So something very interesting here about the weekly. We bounced off the 20-week SMA here back on April 29th. Now, we did a similar kind of move back here on January 2024, and look where it led us. So we kind of had a bit of a big run up, a little bit of a dip, and then a huge run up and a bit of a dip. Are we about to see another huge run up here in the near future? How long did it take? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 weeks before it started coming off again. Let's take a look here. I'm not going to count the high one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Are we going to start seeing this curl up maybe as early as next week? Keep an eye on that. So we're watching that. We're watching that real close. And one thing I really like about it are all these wicks on the bottom of these candles. Look at these big long wicks on the end of like almost all of these candles. That means there are buyers. There are motivated buyers down here. As low as 56,485. We've got motivated buyers all the way from where we currently are all the way down to $56,000. So that's something to be excited about, in my opinion. Of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Take a look here. Yeah. So let me get rid of this box. I don't care about that box anymore. We are right in the middle of this downward channel, right in the middle of it. The top of it is at $68,000. We break above the top of this thing, we are going to run. Now let's see how big was the last impulsive move that came before that our drop here. Let's have a look. So this was from the bottom to the top. It was 97%. Okay, let's see what this one was. From the bottom to the top, it was 92%. So honestly, I would be looking for about a 90% move from this bottom. Let's see what that would do for us here on the weekly chart. Okay, actually, I might need more room than that. Okay, 90% move from the bottom. I need even more room than I can't see it. I think it's 100,000. Let's see. From the bottom, about 90%, $108,000. So if this move here that we're in right now is a repeat of the move from December into March, if that's a repeat of that, that takes us to $108,000 on Bitcoin sometime in the next 2 to 3 months, sometime in the next 90 days. Let's take a look at the miners. How are they doing today? It looks like CleanSpark is up 6.81%. We're coming right back up to that $18 level. We've been struggling with that for a while. We are currently above the 5, the 20, and the 50 SMA on CleanSpark. If we can close out the week above this thing, that would be phenomenal. If we could get over $18 and hold over $18 for the weekly close, that would be beautiful. Let's see what the weekly chart looks like. Not bad. It's not bad. Even if we close over 18, it's not the best thing ever. It's still showing some consolidation, but it's not bad. We're above the 20 and above the 5 here on this chart. Like there's a lot of consolidation here between, like $19 and $15, like lots of it here. When this thing breaks up, I think it's going to be quite exciting on CleanSpark. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara is actually down 3.5% today. I feel like I said something like this and I was looking to pick up calls, which I need to look at. Dang it, I missed the very bottom. No, it's in my box too, so I could probably grab some more of these calls here because I don't think this is going to last super long. Of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. So take a look at this thing. We're below the 50. We're above the 20. We're going to get trapped in between these two things for a while. I think it might come down a little bit more. I'm going to watch it. Well, Bitcoin is up. CleanSpark is up. Mara's down. I don't know how long that's going to last because CleanSpark really didn't. Well, CleanSpark was the one miner that was both that beat in earnings and on earnings per share, like revenue and earnings per share. So they're getting a good benefit from that now. I think Mara might drift down a little more. I forgot I was going to do that this morning. Man, I missed out on buying a couple of calls here. I'd already be making money. Oh well, it's okay. It happens. Not a big deal. Really, this is just a reminder to put reminders in your phone in order to do these sorts of things. Anyways, so yeah, we're just hanging out around the $20 to $19 level. We might drift down to like in the low 18s, maybe high 17s over the next day or two as the earnings report gets digested. And then I think we'll start seeing ourselves move up again on Mara soon after that. Let's take a look at RIOT. So RIOT since earnings, which was on the first, we are actually up a little bit since that earnings report. It really was only down a day and then it came up and then came close back down to that area again. We're sort of just going flat again. We're consolidating. Really, we're seeing a lot of consolidation. We're at $10.17. We really need to see RIOT get up and above $10.83. Like it just needs to do that. We're just going to hang out and hug the 20-day here for a while, the 20-day SMA. Let's take a look at the weekly. What's the weekly looking like here? Not the worst, not the worst. We had that Morningstar pattern that looked super, super good, and then earnings came in and pooed all over that. On the weekly in RIOT, it's kind of just still getting trapped in this zone here between about $11 and $10. We really got to just see it get back up and above this orange trend line here before I'm really getting excited about it again. I do see potential here with this downward trend here, like this downward channel that we're getting on the weekly. Let me go to the 2-day here. Maybe it'll show up a little better there. Yeah, we are flattening out here, showing some consolidation. We are squeezing that you can see at the top here. That's a Bollinger Band Keltner channel squeeze that's going on there. It's been dropping into that, so it's probably near the bottom of that Bollinger. Let's take a look. Let me turn on the Bollingers. No, it's smack dab in the middle. That sucks. That sucks. That thing can go either direction in that case. So we have no idea. This is just coiling, waiting to make an explosive move. And I don't know which way that's going to go because it's right in the middle of those Bollingers. Let's take a look at the daily. Maybe the daily gives us a little more insight there on that. Give it a second to load. Again, right in the middle. Oof. I don't like that. That makes me nervous. We'll see what happens with RIOT. I'm still holding on to some calls here that I've been holding on to. Honestly, I got into them around 1150, so I'm actually down significantly on those. But they're out until 2026, so I have the opportunity to continue to hold them. I'm gonna turn off those Bollingers again. It's just more noise if I don't need them at the moment. Let's take a look at Bit Digital now. Bit Digital. It is, again, just coiling, just like RIOT. See how it was squeezing, and when it was squeezing, it fell pretty dramatically, actually. So we are coiling up just like that. We are creating, honestly, it looks like a bit of a wedge. If I'm not mistaken, we're building a little bit of a wedge here, right here. And let's say like here. Yeah, something like that. We're building a little bit of a wedge there. What's the leaning here? What's the leaning? Let's see here. There we go. I don't love that. That feels ominous. Um, Not a huge fan. But of course, I do know Bit Digital likes to do this sort of thing before. I've seen it work out here. Now, I think this right here that we're seeing right now is just like back here in September to November, mid-November of last year, but a much more exaggerated version. You see how it's like it did a megaphone basically, as you notice. As we talked about, the megaphone, it's been hanging out near the bottom of that megaphone for a while now, so it's been kind of trapped. Here, let me get rid of that. It's been kind of trapped below this trend line. Let me draw it. These SMAs are distracting. It's like spaghetti on this one. Let's take a look here. It's been just kind of trapped below this line right here. Once we get above this line, and I'm going to make this a dashed line. I know this line, there's so many, I'm going to delete, no, yeah, I'm going to delete that. Okay. All right. So many lines on this chart. This chart's getting crazy. So we're still inside of this descending channel. We are being held beneath this trend line here, this dashed line, this yellow dashed line. Let's make it, I don't know, purple. Yeah, let's make it purple. Once we get above this purple line, then we have a shot at the top of the descending channel, which is our next level of resistance, which is up at $3, which is a significant level of resistance. So we got to break through that. These are our obstacles. We've got our purple trend line, we've got our descending channel, and we've got the $3. Once we get above that $3 mark, like honestly, once we get above that $3 mark, there's not a lot in our way going up on Bit Digital. I think we are very, very quickly, once we get above that, just like back here, when we got above $3, we went all the way up to 530 very, very fast. We just came up above it, did a test, and then ran. That's what I'm expecting to do. And like just like this, back here at last June, right? We came up above $3, came back, tested it. Well, I mean, we honestly came down to 250. And then from there, we just absolutely rocketed up to 479. I'm looking for that exact move. We've done it twice now. I'm looking for a third one. I'm looking for it to come up, price to come up. Let me draw it. Up above 3, come back, tap it, maybe come down to like 275, and then from there just take off. That's bad. It's a bad drawing. Take off. And take us back up to 5, maybe even $6, or even beyond that this time around. Because if you notice last time, the impulse was much, much stronger in December than it was in June of 2023. So we're looking for that like late May, mid-June move, which is exactly what took place here on the chart. Okay, where's my box? There we go. Right there. We're looking for that exact kind of movement over here this summer. Okay, let's take a look at Bitfarms. Bitfarms is also doing the exact same thing. We've got a very similar looking chart to Bit Digital. It's just coiling, it's just waiting. We're seeing something similar to like that we saw back here from September to November, but it's a much more animated, if you will, much more volatile move than that one was. And it is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, like a spring just loading up, waiting to explode. And when it does, it will do so dramatically. And I do think that we'll find ourselves back around 3, 4, maybe even as high as $5 very, very soon after this coiling period is done. All of this from back here in March till today is all just building liquidity, building pressure, just waiting to pop off. And when it does, it's going to be dramatic. So that's really what we're looking at there. Let's take a look at the warrants. How did the warrants do today? $1.09. They're actually down 5%. That kind of sucks a little bit. That's fine. I mean, I'm still up significantly on them because I've got them way, way down here. Let's see. Would I pick up some more? I'd consider picking up a few more under $1. If it gets back under $1, I would buy, maybe a few more 100 shares of this thing. And then again, wait for it in like June or July to pop up to this area, back up to 150, 160 range on that. CORZ Scientific did something interesting. It had good earnings, both on revenue and earnings per share. It was a pretty significant surprise, and as a result, they went up 12%. And then today they're up another 2.5%. I saw that on a comment from my old video where I was talking about CORZ Scientific. Now, I personally am not invested in CORZ Scientific. That does not mean that you shouldn't be. It just means that I am not, for my own personal reasons. It doesn't mean I hate the stock or anything. It's just not one that I buy. I've got a lot of stocks that I buy. I can't buy everything. You definitely can make money with this. As you can see, people have made money with this. And if you were in it yesterday, congratulations. You did fantastically. I applaud you for believing in this one, having it in your portfolio, and of course, making money off of it. So, congratulations everyone that's holding the CORZ Scientific. You're doing awesome today. I hope that continues for you. Let's take a look here. We're above all the SMAs here. Let's go into like the hourlies. Let's go into some hourlies to get some better data here on that. Yeah, oh, this is beautiful. This is actually really good. This is really what I'm looking at right here. Really good. Look at these SMAs. Look at how they're just fanning out like this. We got the 200, the 50, the 20, the 5. This is really good. I like this chart a lot. So what I'd be looking for price to do right now is to come back to this 20 on the 2-hour, which is about 367. I'll be looking for it to come to that. Now, I don't know if it will do that exactly. I bet you it'll meet the 20 at 382, maybe 376. So 382 to 376 is where my bets are that price will come back to. And when it does that, it'll bounce somewhere in this box. It'll bounce and then continue its way up. It is now using the 20-hour, the 22-hour, so 40-hour SMA as a point of support. Keep an eye on that. And then if it continues to do that, which it's been doing since it got over it here on May 2nd, it's been doing that since then. If it continues to do that, we will see these, SMAs continue to fan out further and for Core Scientific to drift up further. Now, I do think it's going to go down before it goes up. Why do I think that? That's because of this back here. Let me turn it off. There we go. Let me turn that off. That's because this price action right here, we are smack dab in the middle of a supply zone. So we're going to come back down and find, yeah, in a supply zone, and then we're going to come back down to a demand zone for going back up. That demand zone could come as low as about 354. Could. I don't know if it will though. Now, if you turn off the pre-market, the 20 is all the way down at 350, so it could come down that low. I don't think it will. I think it's going to hang out around this 380 to 375 level before moving on up again. And look, if you look here, we are in this channel again, right? We're almost getting in that channel again. I think we'll get back into this channel, this ascending channel on Core Scientific after we come down to a little dip and then rip on up again with that. So again, congratulations to anybody that's holding this. You're doing fantastic. If you've been in it, just since mid-April. Let's take a look at Palantir. You can see Palantir is still getting somewhat punished for its good earnings with weaker guidance, of course. That's what caused it to come down. You can see this is looking a bit like some controlled selling. So I think we might be finding a bottom here on that selling of Palantir. And once we find that bottom, we'll come up, test the 20 at about $22, which is also where the 5-day is. And when we conquer that, we'll find ourselves back up at about 23 bucks fighting with the 50. We'll see if that ends up being a point of resistance again and sending us back down further. We'll find out. And I'll be watching that closely because I'll be looking to sell a covered call, well, a couple of them, at that level where the 50 SMA is when it gets back up there. I'll be looking for that. I'll be looking very close for that. Let's take a look at NVDA. No, you know what? Not NVIDIA. MicroStrategy. Let's take a look at MicroStrategy. How's MicroStrategy doing ever since that epic fall where it went down 17% in one day? It's been up. It's been up a little bit. How much up are we up still? We are still up 23% from that bottom, so not bad. If you bought that dip, if you just gritted your teeth and bought that dip, you're doing awesome. With this one right now, it is looking like a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders. You can see shoulder here, head there, another shoulder building right now. That neckline is going to be right at 1345.96 cents. Let me lock that down. That is going to be your neckline if you're looking for at that head and shoulders there. Once it gets back above that, we'd be very, very quickly moving into the 1500s, maybe even 1600s on MicroStrategy one more time. Let's take a look at Block. We haven't looked at Block in a little while. What's Block doing? Block has been moving up since May 1st. So we had the halving where it went up a little bit, came down after in anticipation of bad earnings. It actually had good earnings. So it started charging back up again, and now it hit that level, that $73 level here again, where it is halting right now. I do want to see it get above that. It is struggling there. It is using right now. The 20-day is actually looking like resistance. It is forming a bit of a wedge here. I don't love the look of it. I'll be waiting. Again, I'm still just waiting. I'm just waiting. In fact, this line has been defeated, so that's done. It looks like it wants to come back into this descending channel. It needs to get outside of this descending channel before I'm interested. I am not interested in this at all until it is outside of this descending channel that I've got drawn here. Not interested one bit. So I'm still just waiting on this one. Now let's look at NVIDIA. How's NVIDIA doing today? We haven't looked at this one in a little while. NVIDIA, you can see I got a lot of lines on here now. Okay, dailies. Let me turn off these. All right, that helps a little bit. This one's gone. This one doesn't matter anymore. Okay, what do we see here? I see a bull flag. I see a bit of a bull flag. So I like this right here. Okay, so on the daily anyways, I like this little channel right there. When we break out of this channel, I'd be looking for this to very quickly come back up to like 921. And then from there, make a run for the highs. If we break below this thing, meaning we go below $881.33, anywhere below that, I'd be looking to fill this gap down to 860. And from there, reassess whether or not it's got any strength or if it's going to try to come down further. I do like that volume has been dropping off a little bit. Here it's been lowering ever since May 1st. Volume's been kind of getting lower and lower and lower. I do like that, especially since that was a big sell-off. Yeah, NVIDIA is looking like it's poised for a bull move going towards earnings. Now, of course, I would be, if I was doing a play, I'd sell it before earnings, which is on May 22nd. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at Tesla. What's Tesla doing? Tesla, man, I could have done that. Oh well. I was looking at this as resistance to do a trade off of in order to come back down, and that's exactly what it did. But I was recording instead, but that's okay. I can wait for it to try to do that range-bound trade again later on. We'll see if it does. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I can always just sit on my hands today. Not a big deal. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.